Good morning, welcome to another episode of HardFoul. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope you're enjoying yourself, however you are listening, whether it is on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes. Yeah, we're getting all our platforms together. Got a decent amount of stuff to talk about today. Once again, if you can subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the channel, all the support helps you guys. I am going to give you a heads up. Audio is going to sound kind of weird today. Was doing some things and, well, I flat out, I messed up. So audio sound a little weird, but we'll work our way through it like we always do. The show must go on, right? I think someone said that one time. So we did on Friday's show a draft recap, right? So with a draft recap, we talked about, I didn't give winners and losers as far as the players went. I gave more so winners or losers as far as like scenarios, expectations, and just some opinions I had as far as what I thought. Like I didn't give direct, oh, this team won because they got this player and he's gonna be the best player in the draft. Okay, because draft's a crapshoot. What I'm also starting to feel like is a crapshoot is when guys get put in trade rumors, they get this newfound, not hype. No, I correct that. It's just 100% hype. Like when guys start to get put in trade rumors, it's like, oh, well, if he was on this team, he'd be doing great, and oh, he's the perfect piece for this. Like, I remember a few years back, Mike Dunleavy, who was a role player at best, was on the trade block. Role players get on the trade block. I had a three-point shooter here, I had a decent defender here. Mike Dunleavy, though, when he got put on the trade block, got elevated to a great piece for a championship team. I mean, teams were considering if they had picks 20 through 30 in the draft, they're going to give up a first-round pick for Mike Dunleavy. He was going to be the key. He was going to be the answer. Earlier this year, Andrew Bogut. How much would Andrew Bogut help the Cavaliers the way he helped the Warriors last year? Really? No disrespect to Andrew Bogut or Mike Dunleavy, but really? Jimmy Butler was already traded, and there's a lot of cool things to think about with him being in Minnesota now. Is Jimmy Butler, Andrew Wiggins, Karl Anthony Towns. You have a lot of potential for a really good big three. That's different because Jimmy Butler's an established player, Karl Anthony Towns is an established player, Andrew Wiggins is an established player, and while no one knows how they're going to play together, it is cool to think of. My issue right now is we have Paul George, who still could be traded, who still could go to the Lakers in free agency in a year, could be traded to the Lakers this year. But I'm only going to focus on this one scenario. Paul George, the one team that you're considering or that people think should go and get him, obviously, is the Cavaliers, because they wouldn't mind renting him for a year, and then I keep getting told it's, oh, well, they can convince him to stay if they go to the finals, and LeBron's this, LeBron is Jesus himself walking around, and who wouldn't want to play with Jesus himself? What does Paul George do for the Cavaliers? Ask yourself this. We keep getting told Paul George helps them match up with the Warriors better because he can match up with Kevin Durant. No, he can't. What? We get told Paul George can play defense, he is a more athletic than what Cleveland had, and he'll be able to give them a better shot at going at Durant. Why? Paul George is a better defender and more athletic than the guy who just guarded Durant in the finals, LeBron James. He's a better matchup because why? Because he's shorter than LeBron, weighs less than LeBron, is less athletic than LeBron. Durant just came off of finals where he averaged, I forgot the number, but it was like, I think he finished right at 34 point something points per game. And you think he won't get that on Paul George? Paul George, as much as I like him, I think he's a great player, he has 0 on Kevin Durant. There's this thing, right? Growing up, my own personal experience, growing up, there was 3 guys who were just in a different level, right? Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and Kobe Bryant. We're just on a different level. At one point, the top 5 players in the NBA were those 3 guys, Chris Paul and Dwight Howard. I'm a big-time Chris Paul fan. That's my favorite player. Big-time Kobe fan. You know, I was a big-time Dwight fan when he was in Orlando. But you just knew there was a difference between Chris Paul and Dwight Howard and those other 3. D-Wade, it was 07 when he led the league in scoring. No, I believe 08, I'm sorry. Because 07 he was injured. 08 is when he led the league in scoring. That year especially. Those were the top 5 MVP candidates. Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Chris Paul, Dwight Howard. When you look at the NBA now, Kevin Durant and LeBron James, and all you throw Steph Curry in there, they're just a little bit different than everybody. Like, I really like Anthony Davis. I truly think Anthony Davis is the best player in the league. But that's a personal opinion. I'll get to explain that a little more later later in the show. But there's a difference right now between Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph Curry, and the rest of the NBA. Paul George is not on that level. Paul George won't be able to defend Kevin Durant. Will he be able to go at him offensively? Yeah, I guess, but more than LeBron could have? Like, and then explain to me, where did the shots come from? Because not only is Paul George also an ISO player, the 2 guys he plays with are also ISO players, and one of them don't pass. Like, Kyrie Irving does not pass the ball. I don't know how many times we have to explain this. He don't do it. The guy averages a career like 5 assists, and like people, which is great because I've made obviously the 2 videos about talking about Kyrie, and I got blasted for him. And if you look at the finals, I was 100% right. He's a high volume shooter who doesn't pass and turns the ball over at the same rate as guys who do pass. Is he phenomenal as far as being able to dribble, as far as being able to get to the rim? 100%. But I never denied that in any of my videos. But when that's your point guard, you can't do it. Like, and Paul George would be the same way. LeBron might pass him the ball, but then what's LeBron going to do? Is LeBron going to average 20 points a game and 10 assists so that Kyrie and Paul George can get his? Then what about rebounding? LeBron's going to go play power forward again? As much as I think he should start to trend towards power forward, because I think that is a good position to fade into, far more than small forward, where, you are going to be challenged every night by guys like Durant, guys like Paul George, Jimmy Butler. Paul George is just, like I said, it's this, same with the draft. You get this unknown, and because it's unknown, people like to think it's limitless. People like to think it is better than what it is. If you've heard me talk about baseball teams, I hate unknown baseball teams, because if I don't have a proven product, how am I supposed to trust it? Think about this. I said going into the finals, take Kevin Durant, take LeBron James, take them both out of the finals. Okay, right? They don't get to play. Both snap their Achilles, game 1, or even before game 1. Who's the better team? Of course Golden State was the better team. Of course they were. So let's do another thought exercise like that. Put Paul George in this series, take Kevin Love out. Okay? remove LeBron James, remove Kevin Durant, who's the better team? It's still not close. It's still the Warriors. I like Paul George, but he cannot handle Kevin Durant. He will not stop Kevin Durant. And even if he goes at Kevin Durant and gives him 20 to 25 points, it's no better than what LeBron did. Also, can we stop acting like Kevin Love is this great trade piece? Like, Kevin Love is a good player. I will give him that. And he could be a really good player. But he's just a stat stuff on a bad team when he was in Minnesota. And now he's just been marginalized. Which, I don't even know how marginalized. I think he's actually been helped. And I think the fact he's got the reputation of being marginalized has helped his career, because I don't think people would see the same decline that they would if he was still the guy in Minnesota. Just saying. Alright, so another thing I want to get into as far as NBA, and I know I've been beating the drum for Chris Paul going back to New Orleans. You guys are probably sick of that, but it's just, I'm tired of the Warriors, I'm tired of the Cavaliers, and I think there's something with Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins that's just special. So, I have moved on though. I have a new guy. What if, think about this for a second. What if John Wall, who recently told the Wizards, I will not resign until you guys show me that you are serious about what we are doing here. That's kind of big news. John Wall is the best pure point guard in the game right now. And that's hard for me to say because I am such a huge Chris Paul fan. But John Wall is just flat out, he's bigger, stronger, faster, more athletic right now than Chris Paul is. And he plays that kind of game. This is why, he can average 23 points, 10 assists, get you 4 rebounds, get you 2 steals. Like, he's the better Chris Paul at the moment. I think Chris Paul's skill set is probably a little bit better than John Wall, but John Wall's 6'4", like 215, and he's probably the fastest player, him and Russell Westbrook, with the ball in their hands. John Wall has 2 years left on his contract. You know what all these Kentucky guys love talking about? What if could Kentucky win a national title, or could an all Kentucky team win an NBA championship? Well, John, we already got the 2 best players out of Kentucky on one team. Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins, who I'd strongly make the case are the best power forward and best center in the league, they're already on one team. That team already has a pretty good point guard in a Drew Holiday, who you could package with him and a first-round pick, maybe another role player like an Etuan Moore, to send to Washington. And you're going to tell me that, which New Orleans is willing to spend money. Like, I don't know why when I was doing the Chris Paul video, people were talking about like New Orleans was still a small market. That's why Chris left in the first place. Tom Benson is rich, you guys, and I don't know if you've noticed since he got back in, he's done nothing but spend forgive my, I won't even swear right now, but he spent a lot of money. That is why Ryan Anderson got paid, Eric Gordon got paid, Etuan Moore got paid, Solomon Hill got paid, Anthony Davis got paid, and he is more than willing to spend the money for Davis, or for Cousins long term. Now Tom Benson is going through some family struggles right now, as far as if they're not sure if he's considered senile, there's something with the girlfriend, wife, there's a whole situation. I won't get into that. It's not what I'm here to do. Give me a prime John Wall at 27 years old and Anthony Davis at 23 years old. Give me DeMarcus Cousins, 27 years old in his prime. I don't care who's on the wing at the 2 and the 3. I have the best point guard in the league. I have the best power forward in the league. I have the best center in the league. And how do you convince Wall and Cousins to play long term? Or how to sign long term? Well, you sell them on the fact that you got the Kentucky team. You sell them on the fact that we now have three positions where we're the best in the world at. So when you go to match up with the Warriors, you could say Wall Curry. You could make the case Wall Curry's a push. Davis is better than Draymond Green, and Cousins is better than whatever big man Golden State has. Plus, the team's willing to spend the money on these other role players, like they have, like if Moore isn't a part of that trade, Solomon Hill, Quincy Pondexter, Alexis Ajinça, like they have room to grow, or not room to grow. They have the money and the assets to sign the role players, so we don't get top heavy as shit, as some superstars like to say. How about this idea? How else do you sell someone on staying with your team? Well, you also let them know, hey, Wall, Cousins' contract is going to end after this season, Wall's will end after the following season. You guys have a chance to not only be a part of greatness as far as a team, you guys get to play with the best player post LeBron. I don't know if we understand this. Like, I always feel like he gets the short end of the stick. But Anthony Davis is the best player, is going to be the best player post LeBron James. Like, you almost have to take Durant out of the mix. Durant's almost probably never been the best player in the game because his career has coincided with LeBron. And he's going to be heading into his 30s. Excuse me. Anthony Davis is 24, I apologize. I called him 23. 24 years old, right? We all talk about how incredible LeBron was as a 18-year-old coming into the league. Davis was a year older. He was 19 when he came into the league. As a rookie, he put up 13 points, 8 rebounds, blocked about 2 shots. His second year in the league, as a 20-year-old, 20 points, he blocked 3 shots a game, and grabbed 10 rebounds. Pretty good. As a 21-year-old, he put up 24 points a game. He blocked 3 shots. He grabbed 10 rebounds. What am I trying to get at here? Well, I'll tell you in a second. Next year, after that, as a 23-year-old, as a 22-year-old, 24, 10, and about 3 blocks a game. And then last year, he was like, okay, guys, I'm going to put the team on my back. 28 points a game. He grabbed almost 12 rebounds and blocked closer to 2 shots. So you give up a block to get the extra 2 rebounds. Fine with that. And especially now, I think the blocks will go up because he gets to play with Cousins, who I think Cousins is more likely to be the 10 plus, 10, 11 rebound guy. Whereas Davis can be 8, 9 rebounds and give you 3 blocks a game. And they might both average 10 rebounds. Like, they're both that good. What's always been the knock on Anthony Davis? Oh, well, he's injury prone. He misses too many games. That's fair. But let me tell you why it doesn't matter anymore. When I'm trying, and this is my pitch to John Wall, by the way. Why you should stay in New Orleans. Last year, Anthony Davis played 75 games. That's more than LeBron James played for the Cavaliers. Think about that. we're so big into this rest thing now with guys taking days off. You don't even want someone playing 81, 82 games anymore. I mean, yes, we love it as far as fans. We love when we see, like, guys like Westbrook and James Harden playing 81, 82 games. But that's just not the way the league is anymore. I have this 24-year-old superstar who's an all-NBA first defense guy. He's an all-NBA first team player. He's 6'11", can shoot a little bit, can play in the post, can be the best defensive player in the league. No offense to Draymond and Kawhi Leonard, who are currently, but Davis has more skills than them. Like, he's probably the only guy who could actually, I just talked about Paul George, he's probably the only guy who could actually match up with Kevin Durant. Because they're both the same size, height, crazy wingspan. He could actually do it. Like I said, he's starting to be a three-point shooter now. He's shot 32% from three for the year prior. Went right at 30 this last year. That's 50% shooter for his career. Can play defense, can rebound. And he's 24. And you give him, and he hasn't played with great guys. Like, his best teammate was Ryan Anderson. And they always kind of showed playing together because Davis wasn't big enough to play full-time center, and Anderson's definitely not a center. He's a stretch forward. But Eric Gordon was hurt the whole time. Drew Holiday's been in and out due to some family issues. Tyreek Evans, they had that run when they made it to the playoffs, which that was one of the worst playoff teams ever, by the way. If you look at the New Orleans team that made it against the Warriors in their first title run, that was a terrible team. And he willed them into the playoffs. I give you John Wall, the best big man in basketball, and DeMarcus Cousins, and I give you the best post-LeBron player in Anthony Davis, you don't even have to worry about the injuries to add on to that, because he doesn't have to be in the post all the time anymore, because he has DeMarcus Cousins. I'm just saying, John Wall, Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, get John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins inked up for 5 years. You got yourself at least 2-3 titles. And you got the best Kentucky team of all time. Has anyone looked at Major League Baseball standings lately? I found this really interesting. So this year looks really weird, and I referenced this before. Like, if you look at the National League, you look at, yeah, the Nationals are in first place in the East, that makes sense. But then you're like, the Braves and Marlins have better records than the Mets? Okay. You take the NL Central, where the Reds got off to a hot start, they're now in last place. The Cardinals are 6 games under 500. The Cubs are 1 game over 500. The Pirates are probably what we expected. The Brewers are in first place? The Brewers. The West, Dodgers are in first place, that's predictable. The Giants are 27 and 51. I guess it works, they didn't win the World Series last year on their even year, but they're still doing the odd year we're terrible thing. That's good. Take the American League. The Twins are in first place. Wow. Anything's possible. Where's that KG clip? Where's that? Anything's possible! I do have 2 legitimately really cool sleeper teams. One I've talked about before on this channel, and that's the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies currently are in 3rd place. They're on a bit of a skid, but they're still 47 and 31, which is good enough for the 3rd best record in the National League. Think about that. The NL West, which, if you look at the last 10 years, I don't have this number off the top of my head, but someone can go check it for me, probably has the worst collective record in baseball. they've been terrible. Yes, you've had the Giants winning World Series, but collectively, the Diamondbacks, the Rockies, the Padres haven't done so well. Yeah, the Dodgers have racked up wins these last 3 or 4 years, but the prior 5, 6 years, they were kind of terrible. The Rockies have, I'll say this again, the third best record in the National League. They shouldn't be a sleeper team, but they are. My other team that I believe is a sleeper team is the Tampa Bay Rays, who they have, they're third in the AL East with the 4th most wins in the American League. The Astros are first at 52. The Red Sox, they're tied for third. The Red Sox have 41, and the Yankees, Rays, and Angels all have 40 wins. Now, the Rays have played more games. They're 40 and 38. But still, 40 wins, tied for third most. You know what? When I look for a sleeper team, one of the things I'm looking for is I'm looking to see who's playing well while still underperforming, because that means there's room to improve. Because if you're a team like the Reds were earlier this year and you're just playing out of your mind, of course you're not really a sleeper team. You're just maxing out and you just can't keep that pace up. We just watched an NBA regular season where Russell Westbrook did something that was crazy historic, not just statistically, but just the pace at which he played for every single game it's beast mode. Like, you just can't teach guys to do that. The Reds maxed out too early, and it's unrealistic to think they can keep that pace up. Would have been unrealistic to think they could keep that pace up, and they didn't keep the pace up. With the Tampa Bay Rays and Colorado Rockies, you can make a case they both have 2 significant guys who are just underperforming, and I mean big time underperforming. Could make the case that these guys will stabilize themselves and propel these teams that are already doing pretty well past their first place competitors. Think about this. The Dodgers are getting a historic season right now to Cody Bellinger. Right? Like, that is a huge thing for them. And also Ignacio Puig, who's bouncing back. That's 2 factors that were not expected from this LA Dodgers team. And yet they're only 4 games better. And they get that guy that they get to throw out every 5th day who's just unfair. The Clayton Kershaw is on a whole different level of unfair. The Rockies have Trevor Story and Carlos Gonzalez, who are both batting under 200. I think Cargo just got over 200. Ugh. Like, 2 players who, one is a multiple-time All-Star, multiple-time Gold Glove winner, 30 home runs, one of the prettiest swings in baseball. The other is a shortstop who, even if you think he's overrated, is 30 home run power. Is the average ever going to be great? Probably not. But you're taking away 60 home runs? And right now I think they're on pace to hit, like, between the 2 of them, maybe 30. Ooh. If I'm the Dodgers, I get worried. If you look at the Tampa Bay Rays, okay, you have Evan Longoria, who's batting 250 with 10 home runs. Now, a lot of people might not know or be aware of Evan Longoria. He obviously had a lot more hype and attention when he first came up and the Rays first started winning games. And then once they weren't winning as much, his hype and his buzz started to die down. This man is still one of the best 3 to 4 third basemen in the game of baseball, and third base, or one of the best 5 third basemen in the game of baseball. And third base is a stacked position. You got Arenado, you've got Bryant, you've got Donaldson. Like, third base is stacked. .250 with 10 home runs. Evan Longoria is better than that. You got Chris Archer, who, now I'm going to go kind of on a limb here, and I believe Chris Archer is underperforming. Unfortunately, it kind of lines up with what he's doing in his career. He's had one great season, in my opinion. He's had, which was, sorry, no, I'll give him 2. He had the 2 seasons of back-to-back of 194 innings, 212 innings, where his ERA is 3.3 and 3.2. The 2 years prior now, a 4 ERA and now a high 3 ERA. I think Chris Archer is better than a high 3 ERA or a high 4 ERA. And currently, the Rays are competing with the Yankees, who, just like Bellinger, is giving the Dodgers a historic season. Has anyone noticed that Aaron Judge, someone needs to check this man's pee? Like, Aaron Judge is on a historic, like, oh my gosh. The man is, I love this. I love reading off his numbers because at this point, I think they're just funny. She's batting .332, getting on base at .440. You know, already has 26 home runs, already has 59 RBIs, and he's stolen 6 bases. Like, throw your hands up. Like, I don't know what you do with the guy. Like, he's just better than everybody right now. So you have these 2 teams that are dealing with guys who are on all-time great seasons. And have multiple guys underperforming. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility they catch them. Don't sleep on them. Rays, Rockies. Anyway, you guys, please like, subscribe, comment, subscribe not only to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast. He said all that stuff helps so much. Thank you for the support that you guys have already given. I got some big things coming, by the way. I'll be dropping videos tomorrow to show you about some of those big things that are coming. And yeah, just hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope you guys have a great day. I will see you on Wednesday.